This started out, let me show you where this idiocy started out, because the Jodie fans, the poor Jodie fans, they are in meltdown beyond meltdown, right? Because they just are, right? They just are. But this is one that triggered them this time. What was it? There was another one right before this that triggered them. I can't remember what it was. What was it? But like these poor little diddums, right? They can't deal. They let's see if I can find it in one of my messages. They just can't deal that like it's coming out that it was the Guardian, right? That was it was. It was the Guardian saying, oh yeah, the Jodie era was shit. Right? And they're like, and I'm like, it's like, you know, they just found out. Right? And so this is the trigger them over here, where the David Tennant regeneration is was voted like the moment of the year, showing that there wasn't much on bloody TV for one thing, right? And they didn't focus on Jodie at all. Nobody gave a shit about Jodie, darling. That's the reason why. But the meltdown that's been going on, okay, could call it epic is an understatement, right? This meltdown is like nothing I've ever seen, right? I think the Trump indictment is making them all crazy, right? I think it make them all crazy. What's it? So here, let's just see where we are with this latest one, right? Who I keep. I'll just show you the last couple of exchanges, because he said, "Well, I don't like your transphobia." I'm like, what? Dude, I think all people are intrinsically equal and deserving of respect, right? If you call that transphobia, there's something wrong with you. Then you're a bigot, probably, right? So it's been going back and forward now. I said, okay, going live now. Let me know if you want to join. Just understand your beliefs are just that, your beliefs, right? A Muslim has theirs, a Jew has his, and a Christian has theirs. They all differ greatly, and we all coexist. We are able to be different without calling each other bigots. Your worldview is non-theistic. See, I will see earlier. He couldn't understand why I said your religion's bonkers, mate. Right? It's a non-theistic religion, right? Yes, if you believe, yeah, I understand what you believe, mate. Okay, it's fine. You're welcome to it. Is non-theistic and hateful, full of dislike of the unlike, while preening yourself a bit of tolerance. Sorry to break that silly fancy of yours, but your worldview is just that. So let's see what he came back with. If you don't want to call it bigot, don't say bigot things. You expect me to call out anti-Semitism? I don't care what you call out, you idiot. I don't care what you call out, you idiot. I think you're a bigot for pushing your bonkers religion. Bonkers religion on everyone, demanding and assuming we all believe the weird stuff you do. All right. We don't. We don't. Okay, we don't. I don't know what you do. So a delusional. So okay. So what a delusional bigot who believes them. I don't know what. So what a delusion bigot calls out isn't really very relevant to me. Just correcting you. Fine. Oh, yeah. I I don't care what you call out, you idiot. Oh man, there's 10 here about that. I think you're a bigot for pushing your bonkers religion on everyone, demanding and assuming we all believe this fun. We all believe the same weird stuff here. We don't. We'll just make it into two. That's how we'll do it. Doink. Yeah, there we go. So what you delusionally, what a delusional bigot calls out isn't really very relevant to me. I don't care what you do. I was just correcting you. You're welcome. There you go. Spy online, ladies and gentlemen. This is what you line up for, right? This is what you line up for. So we'll go back to this soon. But this guy, oh my God, he is having such a meltdown. Oh, a meltdown like you wouldn't believe. God bless him. Oh God, it's so insane, right? It is just so relentlessly insane. It's beyond insane. Yeah, share screen. It's that's a tab, isn't it? Doing. There we go. So what's he saying this time? You're not correcting anything. You've once again made the basic assumption about that it is correct. Once again, okay, what is the assumption made? Once again, just because you say something doesn't automatically make it so. Okay, I'm saying your belief system, which calls somebody a bigot. I'm saying your belief system, which is indistinguishable indistinguishable from religion, thus called a non-theistic religion. Theistic religion, that's called a non-theistic religion. Indistinguishable from religion, that's called a is inherently bigoted. And far from universally accepted. What am I getting wrong? Do you not have a belief system that labels people who don't share your, what am I getting right here? I'm saying fine. Who don't share labels, that don't share your belief system as bigots? Not big tits. And believe, there you go. What am I getting wrong? Do you not have a belief system that labels people who don't share your beliefs as bigots? Oh, so close. I'm saying your belief system, which is indistinguishable from religion, I don't think I can cut that down. Thus a, oh, we're close. Non-theistic religion is inherently bigoted. There you go. And far from universally accepted. What am I getting wrong? Do you not have a belief system that labels people who don't share your views as bigots? There you go. There you go. In progress, right? In progress. People don't like being called out. I love calling people out. I like it too much, right? That is That is my axe to bear. Okay. So this is where it started. Pip Madley said, pretty bloody disgusting. Hey, pretty bloody disgusting that Jodie Whittaker is all that all the focus. Pretty disgusting to Jodie Whittaker, all the focus on David Tennant. Well, why do you think this is there? Right? Do you think if she just regenerated into a cliffhanger, which was what was going to happen before Russell Davies showed up, do you think this will be in the top moments? Without David Tennant, this isn't even getting a look in, you moron. Right? The Doctor Who Regenerates clip tweeted by the Edinburgh TV Festival begins with a face totally obscured. Thank God for that. It was a beautiful regeneration. Her final performance was deserves praise. She was shit. She was shit relentlessly. So this triggered meltdown. So Dan goes in first, right? Thing is, Pip, that evening into the next day, no one was talking about the ex-Doctor. Right, everyone was talking. It was all about the return of the massively popular actor to the role that made him a household name for everyone. Even Normans were buzzing and expressing about David Tennant. Edinburgh Fest read the room. Right, they don't like that truth. Right, so what this guy's basically claiming no, Jodie was successful. Where is it? How do I have to find my part on it? Because that's when it started getting hilarious. Maybe I follow Dan's thread. Like they're everyone's talking about both David and Jodie Whittaker. No, Sean, mate, they weren't. Right? Nobody cared about Jodie. We're all glad to see the back of her. She was a objective failure, right? Which is basically the problem. Man, I got to find the whole thread on my thing. Fine. We'll go to, I have to go to my profile, I guess. Replies. Let's go back to yesterday. Oh, God, see how many bloody... here we go. This is the thread. This guy goes on forever, right? So, look, dude. Here's where I come in. Look, dude, it's simple. Sometimes Doctor Who is shit. And look, God bless you, mate. Sometimes Doctor Who is shit. Okay? I mean, I wasn't going into the reasons why it was shit. It was shit because it was agenda-driven nonsense. But it was shit. It was an agenda that nobody believes in. Like gender is mutable. Nobody believes that. We don't, darling. Right? It's okay if you like it when it's shit. It's true. I like Colin Baker in the 80s, and it was shit. Something doesn't need to be good or successful for you to like it. You're shocked at finding out that Jodie was a shit failure. Bang on. I think I went on a little bit there. This is where I really hit the nail on the head, I think. The trouble is, I think some needed Jodie to be successful in expression of their political worldview because she was female and latterly gay. It being such a massive failure invalidates her worldview and its holder, thus the denials and meltdown, which is pretty much going on, right? Where did this guy come in? Yeah. Absolute bollocks, says Fraser. It's not bad television. It's okay to like. It's not okay to like bad television. It's not bad television. The era was not a shit failure. It was, darling. It was. I understand. You got balled up with participation trophies, right? I get it. You were the little kid, right? And there were probably more of them as years went on. When they would come into kindergarten or they come into nursery, right? Instead of hanging their little coat and their little lunchbox up on their hook like the supposed would just want them to go, there! And their idiot mother would go behind them saying, well, Tristan is very sensitive, and pick them up and put them on the hook for him. I bet there was more and more of those kids until there were only those fucking kids, right? And now they're meeting the stark reality that Jodie was indeed shit. Yes, Jodie was shit. Her every acting choice was bad. Everybody hated her. It was a massive failure in every way. I'm sorry you don't like that. right? I'm sorry they told you it was the bestest ever. It wasn't. The nation did not despise Ronaldo. Yes, they did. It was not a relief for Joe. It was for everybody, mate, apart from you three weirdos. So many people were talking about her about the ex-doctor the next day. What, 7? Then this gets tough for him at this point. I'm like, dude, calm down. It's just math. It's in my opinion, as we see the viewing figures, in my opinion, and as we see the viewing figures were awful, objectively failed. It's still okay for you to like it. So, what is your opinion of objective failure? This is what it looks like, right? So this is he wigs out on this for God knows how long, right? At what point have they done exactly? Was it before or after they asked Chibnall to stay on past his contract and make another episode for the Centennial? Okay, darling, this is what really happened, right? This is what really happened. He had a 5-year plan. Did you notice all the Chris Chibnall plot threads ended in the middle, unresolved? Who was the fugitive doctor? Don't tell me a mystery. No, that was you got to a middle of a story, right? There was a conclusion coming. What was in the fob? It said mystery. No, it wasn't. It wasn't. It was Chris Chibnall having to curtail his plans 2 years early, right? Can we tell his plan 2 years early? Well, what? Why people do 1 in the chat? 1 second. Did I put 1 in the chat? Type 1 if the Sean guy needs to just move. Yeah, well, it's not Sean. I think his name is Fraser, right? What was I going to say? Yeah, no. So Chibnall had a 5-year plan. They thought that it was at the end of the first season when they saw the massive decline that they said this needs to be fixed, right? And ergo, I think the massive injection of monsters and fan-pleasing stuff in season 2 still failed even harder. Was fired around the end of season 2. Then COVID happened. It was given like he thought he had 8 episodes, and they said no. I tell you what, we're going to take your. We'll take the budget for he had what 6? Yeah, it was 8 episodes. So no, we'll take the budget of one of those specials and cut it into 2. And you'll make the Christmas special out of that and an extra Easter special because it's so shit. We're not spending this money for nothing, right? I think the tragedy of Chibnall, I've always said, was he improved with time, right? His later stuff was better, but that's the stuff that really failed more critically and commercially because people got used to it being a failure. He was fired. He got half the amount of it, but 20 episodes less than he planned. His era was left semi-finished and reviled, right? And so basically I said, look, in the grown-up world, mate, the corporations lie to you, right? When they said they gave him more episodes, that's actually a lie, right? So it goes on and on. But he's best saying, well, you need to quantify why this growth indicates really. I've really got to quantify why these metrics over here, right, these ones indicate failure. So Dan tries to explain, it's simple. Line goes up good, line goes down bad, right? I mean, it's that simple. Right, but no. So anyway, so I think the context goes on and on and on and on and on. I'm like, look at this, right? So then, I tried this thing called Broken Record for a bit, and I said, look, I gave you well-researched, accurate set of metrics. Those metrics would always hitherto be considered industry failure. Later on, I said, if you want to understand more fully, come my YouTube channel. He's pissed out from that. That's just the facts. I'm sorry they contradict a worldview that's important to you. Once again, you have not explained how your data that the era was a failure. So I agree. So then, I go my way and I try and do what this guy asks, right? I put out 23-minute video doing a deep dive into all the data for him, right? I go through everything, right? I go through... You know what? Why am I sitting here explaining to you what this video is? Why not just show it to you? It's actually a pretty darn good video. It's always fun. It's always fun to go to the Jodie Whittaker ratings. They're so bad, right? So let me hand over to that video now, and then we'll get back to this. By the way, you should know, this continued. I've got a whole other video. This guy just never gave up, right? And he got more bonkers. But that'll be for the next one. You got to gird your loins and wait for that. I'll probably cover that on a live stream. I'm recording this little insert on, was it Wednesday, August 30th? Probably August 31st. That's when I cut, unless something else is going down. I'll cover it. It's gold. I'm telling you, it is gold beyond gold. Anyway, let's head over to this video over here. Give you a little bit of time to simmer down, just a touch. We'll just go round in circles, and I don't. You weren't listening to anything that was being said, in my opinion. But look, I'll go with my response to you. But okay, I'm going to answer all your questions for you, right? Give you all the metrics and everything that you need to know, the context. So hopefully this helped you out a little bit, right? But look, I think let's start with basics. And the basic is this. I think, look, your generation, in my opinion, my generation's view, is somewhat messed up. And frankly, it's my generation's fault, right? Around late 90s, the 2000s, I have no idea how old you are. You just seem to be quite young. But around the late 90s, the early 2000s, we started hearing things about participation trophies. And that's like a sign to hang on to more of a general problem, right? That parents had a complete inability of disciplining their children, of telling their children no under any circumstance, and it didn't really help them at all. Like a better example, a more realistic example, is when you took your kid to nursery, right? Your kid was supposed to hang his little coat up and his little lunchbox up on their hook, right? And you would always have one kid who just drop their stuff, and go, blah, blah, and the mother would always trot behind them, pick it up off them, and hang it up for them, rather than say, no, go back and pick that up, right? So, and yeah, I think that's the same etymology as where participation trophies came from. But what it did was it robbed, you're the generation after this even, but it robbed that generation the ability, right? The absolute ability to deal with hearing the word no, hearing that, no, this isn't what you thought it was, or hearing, you just are unable to deal with it whatsoever in a way that people from before the 2000s just look at, and it's like, it's insane. And we feel it's got to way beyond insane proportions now, where we have people saying if your 5-year-old was born with a penis and was called a boy and now decides is a girl, you got to go along with it, otherwise that kid might kill himself, right? No, it's the worst parenting in the entire world, right? And I think you are the result of the second generation, which I don't think, frankly, you've never met anybody who cared enough about you to confront the delusions that you've been brought up with. Now, add on to that, you've also been brought up in the era of social media, which has just made you so, well, I'm not sure you, but your generation, so insanely compliant, right? So insanely believing of any form of authority, right? It's just spineless in a way that, again, we are all. I was brought up in the 70s and the punk rock era, right, where we were taught to, I won't say not taught like in classes, but taught through the culture. Don't trust bloody authority. They normally lie to you, because they normally do, right? They normally do. Okay, so with that premise, I think that's the emotional block. I mean, without talking to you, I don't know. But look, let's start. Fine. So here, let's start at the point where you're a bit stalled over here. Okay, so this is where I went to a technique called broken record, where you just repeat the same basic truth over and over again, right? That gift that Dan put in. Okay, so I wrote you, I gave you well-researched, accurate set of metrics. That's correct. They were very well-researched, and we'll go into the research and the context in a minute. Those metrics, always hitherto, have been considered to be an industry failure. Now, that's factual. That's not an opinion statement. That's a factual statement, in the same way that 1 + 1 hitherto had been known to equal 2, right? Having a penis had hitherto have been known to equal that you were male, right? You were a boy, right? That's not the, okay, I understand you don't want to say that again, but that's just factual, right? And that's why I say that's the facts. I'm sorry if they contradict a worldview that is important to you. Now, that's something I think is really the core of what's going on. Like, I think for you and a lot of people very, very, very intently supporting of Jodie, I think it's more you feel a personal slight and insult when you hear that she did badly. I don't even think you guys liked her that much, because just on a objective level, the quality of it was abysmal. I mean, just shockingly, and I am saying on an objective level, right? But look, mate, I have to say, if you want to believe everything the BBC tells you, right, their PR spin, and that Chris Chibnall intended to write these insane, divisive plots and then drop them in the middle, and they did, and despite these ratings that were always considered bad, it's actually a great success. You can't fight against belief, right? Look, essentially there are three ways you can think anything is true. You got faith, you got belief, and you got knowledge. Knowledge is when you have first-hand experiential evidence of something. Like, I know I have 4 fingers and a thumb. I was going to say 5 fingers, 4 fingers and a thumb, because I can see it, right? It's a first-hand experiential knowledge. I think you could also say that that something that would involve intense conspiracies is probably true as well. So, like, I've never heard an argument for the world being flat that I felt was good in any way, right? I never really, but the people out there who certainly believe it, I just feel that conspiracy involved is unwieldy. That's knowledge. You have faith. I should go for belief. Belief is when you have circumstantial evidence, right? Belief is when, like, for example, in the Middle Ages, people thought the sun and the moon rotated the earth because that's what it looked like. You looked up, the sun went overhead, the moon went overhead. Looks like they were rotating earth. Galileo came along and said, no, not so much. And they reacted to it much like you're reacting to the failure of Jodie Whittaker, right? Not so good, right? Not so good. But it was belief is something that could be true, not true. And then there's faith. Faith is something that you have regardless of the facts, right? Regardless of the evidence, evidence against it. Jodie Whittaker being successful at Doctor Who, regardless of the metric of her rate. I was going to say rating. There's so many other metrics as well, right? We got what else we have? I mean, look at the merchandising. It's I'm somebody who when I grew up, Doctor Who wasn't popular, right? In the 80s, it wasn't something that you talked about to get the ladies, right? It was like you were somewhat, kept. Well, I didn't, but you wouldn't talk about Doctor Who to be cool. Actually, that's not true. In the last 2 McCoy years, weirdly, Doctor Who suddenly became cool again, right? And much more in his final year, right? It became Doctor Who came like super cool again, which was and then it was cancelled, right? So when it came back in 2005. People like me were somewhat astounded, right? Just astounded at the popularity. We couldn't believe it. We were like living in this weird dream world, right? And it just got more and more and more successful. Like, I decided I'm just going to buy every action figure, right? I can't really show how many, but I had to stop when they went to the 3.5 scale as opposed to the 5 scale. Because there's just too many. It's ridiculous. Nobody thought it would be as wildly successful as it was. Now, again, I don't know how old you are, but when the Jodie era started, there were reams of merchandise. There were like those clothes hangers of like Jodie costumes, Jodie, like so much Jodie merchandise, right? Just so much, vanished by the next year. It was completely gone, right? Because nobody bloody liked it. It failed. Now, let's move over to the ratings for a second over here. If I put this over here. Yeah, you go. That's nice. Where we're at. So let me tell you the inside story of these ratings. I can't give you internal BBC memos because I don't have them of, at what metric, at what time do they say, this is awful. Here's what I can tell you from more than one person involved inside the production the names of which you probably know, but I can't. It was told to me in confidence. What do you want out of me? They told me in confidence because I knew these people, because I was a fan in the 80s growing up with them, right? We went to this place called the Fitzroy Tavern. There's no need for me to make up any evidence, because this proves my point. Yeah, in the same way 1 + 1 = 2. This proves the point, right? This, whatever, but I don't know. But at the end of Jodie's first season, the BBC were very upset and very disturbed at the ratings decline, and they hadn't even got down to the levels of like the Capaldi years at that point, right? It was the decline that they were very, very concerned about, right? And then it was during the second year, he basically said, if there isn't a massive upturn, then we're going to curtail your 5 years to 3 years, right? That was there was a rumor at the time about Chris Chibnall quitting and Pete Matee taking over. I'm not sure how true that was, but I think it was around that time, right? Because the ratings were abysmal and the viewing public rejected it, right? It rejected it wholesale. They rejected it because, look, in my opinion, the production was too focused on making social political points, like the episode Rosa, I thought was dire, right? Because it was based on the, I think, very racist idea of racial theory, right? Which is that white people are always oppressors, that black people are always oppressed, and they will always remain to be oppressed by white because it's just in their nature. And it's just ludicrous because, like, you do understand that slavery and emancipation and civil rights were driven by white men. I hate that. I mean, the end of slavery were all day. So, this demonization of somebody based on their skin color is ridiculous. And like, you had this Bill and Kratzko who had, like, he said, "Oh, you people have got too ahead of yourself." Like, it just explained what the hell his point of view was. It was ridiculous. Oh no, he's just racist. It's dumb. If you can't explain somebody's motivation properly, and there are real racists out there you can go for. I always used to like listen to Howard Stern before he. This was back in the 90s. He had this guy called Daniel Carver, who was the head of the KKK chapter. And I didn't like him. I'm Jewish. They don't like Jews, right? But it would be fascinating hearing his worldview, right, which was consistent and held together, and repugnant in of the same. But so where was the BBC apoplectic? They basically fired him. I would say around the time that they warned him he was being fired, that they were curtailing him around the production of season 2, which was done back to back. His second season, which was done back to back with the first one, essentially. And when the ratings came in for the Timeless Children, it was very much curtailed, right? And then COVID happened, so he was. I think he was supposed to do 8 episodes, which was like they got into 6 episodes, and no, he was supposed to do 6 episodes and 2 specials. And then they took the budget for the Christmas special and cut it in half and say make 2 specials out of that, which is a middle finger to Chibnall. And that's what we got: Legends of the Sea Devils and Even the Daleks. Even the Daleks, by the way, I think is probably one of the best things done. Honestly, the tragedy of Chris Chibnall's Doctor Who is that I think it got better as it went along, and it got worse reviews as it went along. It got more hated as it went along because people got used to hating it. The reason I think the ratings didn't dip any lower than they are is because it wasn't on long enough. You have something like EastEnders that's on all the time, right? And it's full of the same kind of agenda-driven nonsense that people that just... Look, here's the truth. In 2005, nobody cared about Captain Jack being gay, right? Or Mickey being black and Rose being white. Nobody cared about this stuff, right? This idea that racism suddenly appeared and there are Nazis everywhere basically is a 2016 invention as a reaction to Brexit and Donald Trump, which I think fried a lot of people's brains. Fine. So, and then, as COVID happened, and Christian basically just left his run somewhat in the middle, you know, which very obviously from watching it, right? Watching it I find a bit painful, but whatever. I digress. So let's look at these ratings. Firstly, the way they calculate the ratings, I call a bit of shenanigans with, right? These are not the live figures; these are the overnight figures. So the overnight figures that anybody watches it live on BBC, on TV, plus anybody who time shifts and watches it on iPlayer. So what's wrong with that, right? Well, what's wrong with that is if you watch 2 minutes of it, you're considered a full view, right? Why? Why not if you watch 5% of it, you consider 5% of view. If you watch 50% of it, you consider 50% of view. Why is it? I think it's to fudge the figures, quite frankly, right? And Tom Spilberry in Doctor Who magazine, I think for Legend of the Sea Devils, let slip there was the live figure for it, and it was dreadful. You could see why he let slip, because he wanted to show how much the time shifting thing benefited it. Now so to get a comparison about why these are bad and why other are good is because we need to compare them to other times that ratings were bad. Now the ratings did fall considerably during the Capaldi years, and I think there are quite a few probably quite good reasons for that. Firstly, I think Moffat's focus was really on Sherlock, right? If you saw that last Sherlock story, that should have been a Doctor Who story with Sherlock's sister being Missy, right? Missy, I thought, was a great invention, by the way. But a lot of Capaldi's first season, I felt, was subpar. First impressions last. And also, he came out as a very alien, off-putting Doctor, and he wasn't warm and cuddly in the same way that Matt Smith was. So, the ratings did take a shot. The other thing they took a beating over was not having a regular time slot, being in the summer, which is a very, very tough place to get ratings, as opposed to the Jodie, which was very firmly in the winter when it was raining out on Sunday, sandwiched between two successful things, and it still experienced a big ratings drop. But so even though the Capaldi, I think if Jodie was scheduled like Capaldi, her ratings would have been half of what they are now. Right? It would have started off huge because people were like, oh, female Doctor, let's see what it's like. And I actually thought it was going to work, right? I just didn't think they were going to piss it all away on like nonsense. I thought it was actually going to be good. But again, I've watched these in detail. I think they are absolutely dire. I think these scripts are unprofessional. And look, Jodie's acting choices of playing the Doctor like a cruel buffoon who never knows what's going on and lectures people. It's just awful, right? There's nothing. For me, the central trait of the character is an anti-authoritarian authority, right? Well, Jodie was a super authoritarian non-authority. She had no authority in her performance whatsoever. Again, in my opinion, I'm just suggesting why the viewing public haven't thought about this detail, but why it disconnected from them. More than anything else, it was boring, right? Those episodes, I fell asleep in them, and I was reviewing them. I had to take notes. If you liked it, God bless you, mate. I have nothing wrong with you liking it. I'm not saying you're wrong for liking it. I'm just saying you're wrong for saying they were successful, because objectively, these ratings say they were. So anyway, the ratings crashed far lower than Capaldi's, but also they crashed far lower than the lowest classic as well. Lowest classic was Battlefield 3.1. Now, if you look at their rating for Battlefield, you'll see a ratings incline rather than decline, which is massive, right? 3.1, this was September 6th, so coming off summer, it was a cheap production. The BBC didn't like it. The BBC really wanted it to go, and that's why, and that's why it went. And still, we had a ratings incline. So it seems like 3.1 will be lower than Legend of the Sea Devils 3.47. But no. The live figure for Legend of the Sea Devils was under 2, 1.73, I think. I can't remember, right? The live ratings it's in Doctor Who, were absolutely abysmal. So you can say, well, people didn't time shift back in the 80s. Yes, we did. we had things called video cassette recorders, and virtually everybody time shifted, right? It was on the same time as Coronation Street. And if your mum wanted to watch Coronation Street and you had one TV, that's what it was like in the 80s. You would record Doctor Who and watch it later. And most pet fans would like that because they like to record it and rewatch, right? So there was that time shifting. So look, these are the worst in context, Mike. When you look at it in context, these are the worst viewing figures that Doctor Who has ever received, right? When you drill down into the context. So look, May, you're having like a real denial thing, right? Dan over here said, look, you've been served round upon round with irrefutable hard evidence. Yeah, that's what this is. Irrefutable hard evidence. Now I've explained it to you. It's irrefutable hard evidence. Proven wrong beyond doubt. Proven beyond doubt. Several figures connected to the series have acknowledged the failure of the show, its failure publicly, including Chris Chibnall, saying until he heard about Ross D. Davis 36 hours before he was announced, and he had been trying to get somebody to take over Doctor Who for like the last 18 months without success because the brand was so damaged. The only aspect people differ on is where the blame lies. Well, you kind of are like that with your fingers in your ears. You go, again, I have not been certain anything other than line goes down equal bad. Well, that is true. In the same way as 1 + 1 = 2, line goes down equals bad is factual, right? You both seem to think repeating the same thing over and over again, being condescending. We're being condescending to you because you can't understand like line goes down bad. Yes, that's the fact. If when the line goes down, that's bad. That's a failure. That's a factual reading of it, right? That's why we're being condescending to you, right? Calling you names. No, he didn't call you a name. He said something was an ad hominem attack at some point, and it wasn't at all. He was talking about how you were not understanding, the simple way to the obvious simple way to read these viewing figures. However, I don't know calling you names other than I think you're young. However, it doesn't. No, it does. Again, these viewing figures indicate failure. That's an objective truth. I know you don't like it. I know you probably never heard anybody tell you you're wrong before, right? It's still objective truth, right? It just makes you people who can't have a discussion. Oh, again, we're trying to have a discussion with you, but again, it's like having a discussion with somebody who won't accept basic math, right? 1 + 1 = 2. No! 1 + 1 = 27 or 11. Yeah, it's bonkers, right? I am sorry it hurts your feelings, right? Which obviously it does. I am sorry it hurts your feelings, but mate, I don't know what to tell you. The facts are the facts are the facts. The merchandise in the toilet, the AI, it was in the toilet, the ratings in the toilet, even with their bumped up ratings using the time shifted 2-minute nonsense. And that's in the toilet in comparison to when it was cancelled in 89 and Capaldi's era, the previous level of the 2005 era, right? So yeah, in context, these ratings are an absolute failure. It's very obvious to see their absolute failure. That's why you're being spoken down to, right? That's why I can't remember what started this meltdown in the Jodie fan base. It was something about the regeneration being the most exciting point of TV in the year or something. And like, well, what about Jodie? They didn't say anything. Yeah, nobody cared about Jodie. Though everyone to see her gone, right? It was like, yeah, nobody gave a damn about seeing Jodie. Right, and what's the other one people freaked out about? I can't remember. There's a meltdown every other day. Look, it's fine if you liked it. I liked, Trial of the Time Lord. It was shit. Okay, this was shit. Okay, it not a reflection on you. I'm sorry to say, go watch some good TV. Yeah, that's what I would say. If you think this is good, go watch some actually good TV, and you'll be amazed, right? You'll be amazed. But yeah. I explained to you in context. I explained everything to you now, right? There's no gray area. I hope you find this helpful. I compare it to the Sylvester McCoy and Peter Capaldi, the last two era. Peter Capaldi, there was a dip. I talk about the dip in their ratings. I talk about why the dip in Jodie's rating I felt was more, right? I talk about how unfair it is comparing the overnight ratings to Sylvester's live ratings, right? Because, we time shifted in the 80s. Believe it or not, most people had video recorders. right? And most people have one bloody TV, quite frankly. And if your mum wanted to watch Corrie, you would have to record Doctor Who and watch it later. Most people did that, right? So I don't think it's fair comparing the time-shifted ratings to live ratings, because Sylve got on his lowest 3.1 on his live. I believe Legend of the Sea Devils got like 1.4 or something. Just unbelievably bad, right? So it was, according to the last time that Doctor Who was cancelled, it got considerably less. Yes, These is in every way, shape, and form is a quantifiable failure. Any spin they tell you to intimate it wasn't is a lie, right? It's that simple. They're lying to you. When they say it's the most popular show on BBC, between 12 and 14-year-olds or whatever idiot demographic in the hours of 2 to 4 a.m. Whatever, it doesn't. It means they're spinning it. It's a lie. Darn, and he is just wigging out and wigging out. So then, this is when he really loses it, which is hilarious. 5 minutes in, and you've made 2 transphobic comments after basically condescending me. I do. I'm condescending because you're an idiot, because you can't read a simple chart and understand what up and down means. Yes, exactly. If you can't stand what 1 + 1 = 2 means, yes, you will get condescended to. That indeed will go down. And you incorrectly assume what my age is. I think you're a kid. What you're probably in your 20s. I don't think I'll bother with the rest because it proves you wrong. I think we're done here. If only little pussy boy can't let it go. But I was willing to give you the benefit. Unfortunately, you just proved every right thing. So basically, I called him out and said, dude, I think all people are intrinsically equal and deserving of respect. It speaks to the failures of your worldview that if you label that as bigotry. I guess you didn't want to contextualize the data. You just didn't want to be wrong. And that's the bottom bloody line, darling. You just didn't want to be wrong, and now you're squealing like a little bitch. Right? That's all you're doing. You're squealing like a bitch. Don't squeal like a bitch. Right? And fine. So let's see where he is now. And we'll see him squeal a little bit more. Doink. I label people who say bigoted things as bigots. Right. I'm doing the same thing. Sorry, Abby. Okay. I understand your labels. Right. Right. I'm doing the same. You're a bigot. You're a bigot. It's simple. You just don't like that. What you're getting wrong is filling your heart with hate. You just don't like that too. You just don't like that. You don't like that I'm pointing out your dislike of the unlike, which we know is in Chesterton's description of the Daleks, right? Why that you think I'm full of haters? That you think full of hate is literally ludicrous. Am I spelling that right? No. How do you spell ludicrous? Bloody hell. Let me just look how I just spell that. There you go. Yeah, what time are we in the stream? Fine. Check out the stream. Check out the stream. 54 odd minutes in. Literally pissing, laughing. 54 minutes in. Yeah, right. I'm literally pissing, laughing at the idea. Like, honestly, why do you think I hate you? I just think you're a twat. I don't hate you. Lots of people are twats. I don't hate you at all. I just think you're a self-aggrandizing idiot. I'm saying aggrandizing wrong. No. There you go. Self-aggrandizing. I'm gonna try and copy it. Really? Oh, here we go. Doink. Self-aggrandizing. Idiot. There's no hate there, just amusement. Yeah, 1 second. There we go. Doink. ... There we go. Get a few emojis in, some hearts. There you go. Let's see if he comes back again, little pussy cunt. But these little pussy cunts, they're melting down. Beyond melting down. You're going to post that data on video on YouTube. I don't have it. I'm sorry, mate. Oh, X is fun. Listen. Who knows if the days are numbered there, right? I think X is fun. I'm enjoying it. So, again, just because you say something doesn't make it true. No matter how many times you say it, you'll notice I provided an example of my bigotry while you actually didn't. Well, you did actually. Again, you labeling. You had nothing pleasant to say this whole interaction. Now you're calling me an idiot. Let go of the hate, dude. How far are we into this, dude? 1 hour, 19 minutes into the stream. I so don't hate you. You're hilarious. I so don't hate you. You're hilarious. There's no hate other than from you. Should we do a little kissy face? I think a little kissy face. That works. Little kissy face. Where do we get kissy face? Do I do a kiss? Other than from you, right? And you saying I don't share my beliefs. You saying I don't share your beliefs does in no way validate your bonkers outlook that me respecting all individuals and seeing them as intrinsically equal. Fine, intrinsically equal. And you saying you say me not there, me not sharing your beliefs does in no way validate your bonkers outlook that me respecting all individuals and seeing them as intrinsically equal as being bigoted.
You saying it over and over again just don't make it so. But you saying that is an example of you being bigoted. This is not confusing. This is not confusing. Or I'm going to have to go for 3 here. Hard to understand. Mind you, you couldn't understand how low ratings were not the goal in you can understand how low ratings in constant decline were not the goal in commercial television. I think we need a couple of laughy faces on that one, don't you? Doink, doink, doink. Fine. What do I say? Television. Fine. Doink. Doink, doink. Oh man, these guys are nuts. And there you go. Die. Dude, 1 minute 19 into the stream. I so don't hate you. You're hilarious. There's no hate other than from you. And you saying me not sharing your beliefs does in no way validate a bonkers outlook like me, respecting all individuals and seeing them being intrinsically equal as being bigoted. You saying it over and over again does just don't make it so. But you saying it is an example of you being bigoted. This is not confusing or hard to understand, mind you. Okay, there you go. There you go. Oh, what a twat. I mean, like, really? What prize do you reckon you're going to get for being a twat? I just tell me. I would love to know, right? I would love to know what this prize is. My name's Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe. And ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.